So one day I was outside meditating, you know what I'm saying, feeling spiritually exhausted at this time, you know what I'm saying. My guilt has overwhelmed me like a burden too heavy to bear. That's just how I felt. And I was thinking to myself, I asked myself, like, what is the root? Like, what's going on? Why am I feeling in bondage right now? And that answer came quick. You know, I thought that, well, the issue is when temptation hit me, I keep taking a next step towards it. And then I wondered, well, why is that? And the passage that came to mind was Proverbs 6. In this book of Proverbs, chapter 6, Solomon is warning his son against the adulteress and against committing adultery. And this concept of adulteress, of course, he's talking about a physical one, a real adulteress, right? Like a person, but it also extends to a spiritual adulteress. And this is something I talked about before. But the adulteress is personification of whatever sin, whatever desire, whatever attitude that is in us that seeks to take us away from God and keep us away from God. That sin that is trying to take us to hell. And talking to him, he said, son, he said, do not lust in your heart after her beauty, or let her captivate you with her eyes. For the prostitute reduces you to a loaf of bread, and the adulteress preys upon your very life. And for me, the answer came in verse 25. Don't let her captivate you with her eyes. And I thought to myself, well, the problem is, the reason I keep taking the next step is because I keep letting that sin, that temptation captivate me. To captivate means to attract and hold someone's attention, often through charm, beauty, or compelling qualities. I keep letting my sin fascinate me. Proverbs 7 is one chapter in the Bible that gives me the most chills down my spine when I read it. It's one of those things where you read it and you like, that's me, and that's speaking exactly to my situation, my experience. You know what I'm saying? So in Proverbs chapter 7, King Solomon again is talking to his son, warning him about the adulteress. And then he goes on in verse 7 and tells his son a story, right? It goes like this. He said, and I'm gonna paraphrase it, but here it goes. He said, then I saw among the simple a young man walking down the street, right? Then it says, then out came a woman to meet him, dressed like a prostitute and with crafty intent. And she basically said to him, hey, come back to my house with me. And then she goes on to say all these things that she has at her home. You know, if he comes, you know, she said, you know, I have this, I have that. I got perfume. She said, come, let's drink. She said, let's enjoy ourselves. She said, my husband's gone. And after the dude heard all of that, it says in verse 21, it says, with persuasive words, she led him astray. She seduced him with her smooth talk. She captivated that man. She captivated him with the things that she was telling him. Solomon telling his son, he's saying, look, if you get involved with the adulteress, you're gonna be taken out. It's gonna take you out. Don't do it. And listen, some people really don't understand. I remember seeing something online, and somebody asked, like, they said something like, what's wrong with watching pornography? And I was like, what? Can I testify? Look, man or woman, if you have a porn addiction, if you have serious lust issues, listen, it's going to take a miracle for you to stay married. Believe me. So let's wrap it up, okay? So how does the besetting sin in your life, that repeated sin, that thing that you learning, it really got a hold on you, and it's going to keep me from giving God my all. How does that sin captivate you? How does it convince you to disregard what God says and do what it's saying to feel that desire that you feel? Identify it so that you can mortify it, so you can cut it off. Because if you don't, that sin will take you to the end. What was the end for the young man in Solomon's story? So he went with her, right? We learned that. And in 27, it says, her house is a highway to the grave, leading down to the chambers of death. That's the end. Sin will take you to hell. Don't let it. Jesus died for you to be free. He died for me to be free. And that's why I'm fighting. Stop being a fool. Don't let it captivate you.